What's up, everybody? This is Rondy Wooten here on behalf of the State of Gaming. I'm being joined here today by
Jerel Rosemont.
And Smogon's most hated and almost to be banned, Eric Gomez.
Everybody hates that guy.
Yeah.
They hate him on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube.
Don't forget to hit like.
Indeed. Like, favorite, subscribe, share.
Yeah, like.
Comment. We're going to be talking about Destiny, that we've all got our hands on it, particularly the multiplayer aspect of Destiny. If you want to know my thoughts on the single player on the campaign, a review actually just went up. You can check that out on facebook.com/thestateofgaming. It's also on YouTube, Twitter, all the places that you can go check reviews out. Look at ours, click like on it. We got our hands on it. The game is pretty multiplayer centric once you hit 20. How do we feel about Destiny's multiplayer? Are we going to call comparisons to games like Battlefield and Call of Duty, or just how do we feel about it overall? Is it better than single player? Is it the reason to play the game? Is it problematic? Is it awesome? Everything in general, everything in between.
I like the cross hybrid of the multiplayer. The nice bridge between Halo and Call of Duty to bridge the two crowds together. That was really clever. Like the control playthroughs and
it's definitely a hybrid between the two. Activision has their hands all over it just as much as Bungie does. I think we can all agree here that gameplay is really solid. I have a few quibbles, mainly like postmortems. I wonder if that has anything to do with connection, but I kind of doubt that.
The Destiny servers, I'm definitely experiencing problems with them every now and then. I mean, I don't know if that's congestion because the game is still relatively new and there are still people who are just now buying their copy, within the last 3 or 4 days or something. And I find it hard to believe that Activision or Bungie doesn't have the real estate necessary to facilitate all of those players. But I've been disconnected from Strike several times, and in multiplayer matches, I've lost connection, and I don't really know who's at fault here, if it's my network or if it's Bungie. And the postmortems play a big role in that too, because you get latency where you swear to Jeebus that you killed some guy, but then you're the one who's dead, and then the guy seems to have lived, but then 2 seconds later he flies off into outer space and is dead too, and you get a postmortem. I don't know if that's my personal connection. I don't know if that's a PlayStation-specific problem, since I haven't played it on the Xbox. I don't know who's at fault, but it's a problem.
What do you guys think about the balance of multiplayer? Like, do you feel like somebody who has a higher level, better weapons has an advantage of someone who's
fusion rifle
3?
Fusion rifle.
Yeah, that's
2 words.
Yeah, fusion rifles is 2 words, definitely. I agree. I think it's a multifaceted issue. As far as looking specifically at level, no. I mean, there's already a thing in place that scales damage down from guns, but someone who's at a higher level is going to have guns with, they're going to have fancier guns. Like, I didn't have something with an excellent sight and a large magazine and good impact when I was level 3. And just because you scale down the damage of a shotgun, if it's still a damn good shotgun and it's only available at level 15, then, there are going to be haves and have-nots. So people at a higher level just have access to better gear, even if the damage from it scaled down. But with that said, I think all of the imbalance comes from weapons and not from... I don't think there's a class imbalance. I don't think I've run into a situation where I'm like, wow, Titan's OP, or Warlock's OP, or Hunter's OP. The
classes are balanced, but the guns aren't.
Yeah, I think that's where the imbalance is.
I wish they would just... I'm sure they're going to work on it sometime down the road, especially with the pulse rifles. I think it's just an unfair advantage at this point. It's like that's the way to go. I just want to see more diversity.
Yeah.
Because it's either... pulse rifles most of the time, or shotguns. Shotguns, understandable, close range, fine.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they kind of balance it out some way, with the ammo, the heavy ammo, and the special ammo infrequently comes in.
Yeah, but you don't need that much ammo to use pulse rifle.
Special ammo is pretty abundant. If it was a heavy weapon, like if they did something like, pulse rifle is now, or rather fusion rifle is now heavy ammo, then that would make
they would have to change the class.
Yeah.
On that.
But yeah, it does kill diversity. I mean, we're not at a point where everybody is playing Warlock, Titan, or Hunter because it's the clear favorite, but we are seeing, if you go into the Crucible and you don't take a fusion rifle and a sniper rifle with you, then you're not getting the top 3. Like, you're just not competing. You know, on those really big maps, people with sniper rifles are just gonna destroy you before you can even get close to them. I mean, don't even get me started about. We didn't even talk about this before we started rolling, but the maps that are really heavily reliant on vehicles and on
there's one map. It's I think the Meridian Bay Mars map.
Yeah.
With the cannons and then the big map.
Yeah.
Vehicles. They're great, but it just kind of ruins the fun for you, especially you have that one guy with a big tank just rolling around, blowing shit up. I mean, although it's the point, but it's like, it takes out the competitiveness just a little bit. But the game doesn't feel all too competitive because it doesn't even have leaderboards.
The game doesn't feel skill reliant. And one of the main reasons I say this is because I don't do terribly at it, but I'm terrible at the game.
I could confirm this, by the way.
Yeah, so like I'm no good at first-person shooters, and when I have more kills than I have deaths, that means the game is not built correctly. It just isn't. And, you know, how did I fix that? I noticed that I got killed 30 times by fusion rifles. I got my own fusion rifle and started to win.
And then you wreck shit, yeah. And same thing with me. I tried to use auto rifles, pulse rifles, but always outclassed by fusion rifles, yeah.
Yeah, and then you get your own fusion rifle, and it's like, oh, now I'm good at this game.
Exactly. Instant KO every time.
Yeah, and if there's a map where there's a turret or some kind of like speeder bike or some kind of big cannon tank ship thing, just get in that and you win. So
yep, bam.
Yeah.
Katie raises, everyone gets mad.
Yeah, I don't know.
Then you get banned.
The multiplayer could be incredible, but when there's very few, very clear ways to just get an advantage, and then everyone takes those very few, very clear ways, and all of your games turn into kind of the same thing.
Do you imagine it being like something sponsored by MLG?
So, no, I don't think Destiny. I don't even think Destiny itself takes its multiplayer seriously. I mean, like you said, there's no leaderboard in place. They don't even seem to be pushing it like that.
Which is unfortunate, considering the ambitions and all that. You would have thought they would have considered that people.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm definitely competitive. You know, I have that expensive headsets. I have everything set up. But the game isn't doing it for me in terms of being competitive. It's like there's no leaderboards, no incentive. Ooh, armor, so what?
Yeah.
How about my place in leaderboards?
I would consider it a supplement to the story because you use it for Crucible marks to get like armor. And stuff.
Yeah.
Everything about PvP seems to just funnel back into what you're going to do with it in the strike missions or in the story. So, I mean, you go to PvP to get to get Crucible marks, to get gear, and to raise your level. But then once you're ready to roll, you take that to the strike playlist or something. Like, I don't know if PvP is the focus. Honestly, I don't know what Destiny's focus is at all. I don't know if Destiny has a focus. So
it's kind of all over the place.
Yeah, they don't go too far in any one direction. So it's like, well, yeah, there's a story, but we don't want to make it all about the story. We're not going to flesh out the world and the characters. We're not going to go heavy-handed in this direction. So then you think, oh, is it a PvP game? Then you check out the PvP, and there's no leaderboard, there's no balance. It's like, well, okay, so it's not about the PvP either. Mm-hmm. Is it about? Is it just a shooter? Well, no, we've got all these social mechanics in place, and we've got all of this great story and exploration. But then you check the exploration out, and that's shallow. So I don't know. I think.
Now we went on talking about how it's not really informative, like to casual. I mean, there's going to be a lot of casual people playing this game also.
Yeah.
There's not enough information going around about like the story. You know, we were talking about the Grimoire cards, how we had to go all the way into Bungie Net just to do it. Yeah. Why couldn't you just implement that in the game?
Yeah,
most games do that. Wolfenstein did that, for example.
There aren't a lot of in-game tutorials or tips. There's no bestiary. There's no thing you can go check terms, like if you want to know what the hell a Vex is or what you're supposed to do with motes of light, or a comprehensive tutorial on how to get them, or how to, there's so many things you just have to Google and Wiki and Bungie.net, and like you end up on Reddit and IGN to like find out how the heck you're supposed to do things in this game that the game itself should be instructing you on. And for a game that's not hardcore, for a game that's not all about MLG and leaderboards, and a game that's not all about spending hundreds of hours on a fleshed out story and a universe, a game that seems to be so broad and casual, for it to not have these kinds of
basic things.
basic
I mean, because I
handling
definitely look
instructions.
into all that data if they had it readily available.
It's a lot of learning on the fly in the game, especially when you find out the buttons to dash with.
Yeah, I didn't know any of that either.
Yeah, exactly.
I was like, how is this guy
There's
pointing at me and
nothing
dancing at me?
there that tells you how to dance. You just figure it the
You have
fuck
to
out.
dance. I mean, dancing in Destiny, like in life, is something you just have to feel in your bones and in your soul.
Exactly.
You have
Just
to
hit that.
try out things.
Yeah.
Yep.
But yeah, it was weird. I mean, I dropped in and I didn't get like.
Hey, that dancing is exquisite.
It's divine. A lot of gamers complain that I don't want tutorials in my game. What happened to the days where you would just go in there and figure it out? But
I mean, it's just nice. I mean, it's supposed to be a new IP, so it's a courtesy to actually just have it there.
I would have loved to be told like, hey, here's the mechanics. Here's what's available to you. Here's how you do this. Now go do it. But instead, I had to sit there and be like, what's available to me? How do I do this? Where am I going? And if you keep a player in that position for too long, they might get frustrated and just turn your game off.
Yes.
And I still don't even know how to make a clan. I gotta Google that too. These kind of things should be built into the game. So, I mean, obviously, Destiny's not perfect. We could talk about it all day. And I mean, I guess stay tuned. For a game that's going to be constantly evolving, we're going to keep coming back to this topic over and over again, talking about how we feel about every change and every patch and things like the glass vault or whatever. So we'll no doubt be back at it again. I mean, this is enough for one day, I suppose. Destiny's going to be news for a long time.
So then, what do y'all think about it so far? I mean, by what you see so far, what do you what's your opinion on it as of now, pretty much?
While I hate to say that it's too early to completely judge the game,
you're right.
Because when a game comes out, it should be ready to go. I shouldn't have to give a game a 6-month grace period, but it is a little early. I think we have to wait to see what Destiny continues to do to really gauge what our experience with Destiny is going to be like heading forward. With that said, the game is solid. It just kind of breaks under the weight of the hype built around it and of the expectations of the players. It's a great game. It's fun to play. It gets repetitive once you've cleared the story, but we can say that about 80 million different games. Destiny's just under fire for what everybody wanted it to be. And
it's not what everyone wanted to be. It's like you said, what it was hyped up to be.
Yeah.
I didn't go with the hype because I knew it was going to meet those expectations.
Right. I mean, it's not the first offender. I mean, we could say this about Final Fantasy 13 and this game and that game and Grand Theft Auto.
But they're all their own genres and expectations and fan base.
Destiny's just the flavor of the week. Destiny's the hot thing right now, and it's under scrutiny. But it's so much better than almost everything else you can play on your PS4 or Xbox One right now. Destiny's a really good game. And if you have a current gen system or next gen, whatever you want to call it, and you don't have Destiny, you're missing out. It's a great game. It's not perfect, but who's really to blame for expecting that game to be perfect?
Activision.
Probably. But yeah, so, I mean, a lot of what we say about Destiny, while it's valid, I think it only is getting this kind of attention for unfair reasons. And yeah, we'll revisit it more in the future to check in on it.
Yeah, just stay tuned. We're definitely going to cover this a lot more as things roll out. I have high hopes that they'll really bring this game to a better light. It's been a rocky start for them.
Yeah, we'll keep tabs on it. And if you guys want to check out any of that coverage and all of our coverage, you can check us out on youtube.com/astateofgaming, facebook.com/astateofgaming, and even follow us on Twitter @astateofgaming, keeping it real easy for you guys. You can keep up to date with all of our Destiny news, coverage, reviews, etc., etc. Thank you for listening to this podcast. Take care, everybody.
Yeah, today.
Yep.
Zone A neutralized. Zone C lost. Zone A secure. Haha, the Crucible's no place for mercy. You control all zones.